So I am actually the lead singer of a northeast band called Komparrison. So I like co-write songs and sing and stuff, and we run like events every now and then, and yeah, pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah, nice and simple. How did you first get involved within the arts? Like, when did you start singing?
So me and Caitlin, who was the other vocalist for the band, we actually started years ago now. We're talking like back in school, like your cringy school performances the whole way through. But we were lucky enough that our music department had a massive say on like a lot of the performances and stuff that happened like in town. So we had quite a good connection with like the council and stuff. But just through that, we started singing together. Then we started doing the open mic nights, and at the time, we were lucky enough that when we started, there was a lot of funding for it. So there was a lot of projects to help like young people and young musicians and stuff find the footing and find like the right kind of connections. But that's how we started, and then we originally like started writing our own songs, and it wasn't just covers anymore, and it wasn't just little shows here and there. We started to kind of make a name for ourselves, and then we ventured out and went into like the big world.
Yeah, now you're a full-fledged band and you're doing gigs up north.
I know we've got a tour coming up as well, so we're going all over the shop at the minute. Yeah, but good things are happening, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that's all good plans and stuff. It's nice to hear things going well as well. I followed your band for quite a while, so it's like nice to see you grow as musicians and whatnot, as well as like sort of people and stuff. But when you're on about like school, like are you on about like primary school, or was it secondary school that you started?
Well, me and Kevin actually started in choir in primary school, and we did like shows all the time. We were doing like dance shows for like the mayor and like daft little stuff that we look back now and it really makes us cringe. But then we didn't really start taking it seriously until we were about 14, 15, which is when we started going to the open mic nights, finding funding, joining like clubs outside of school and stuff, which is kind of when we started taking it a little bit more seriously.
Right, I mean, it's hard to take stuff seriously as a kid, isn't it? Like,
I know.
go to choir practice. I don't want to.
Yeah.
In regards to getting started, then who influenced that? Was it yourselves influenced by like? Did you have any like major inspirations or whatnot? Like,
I suppose we did to it like a certain degree. We didn't. The trouble was we never actually really believed in ourselves ever, and it was just a bit of fun that we do like every now and then. And I remember my dad had come to a school concert, and we did them every term. There was such a massive thing at our school because we were performing arts school and a sports school and all this. So we were just show-offs really. But yeah, my dad had come and he was like, look, girls, he sat us down in the car afterwards. Sorry, I can't take your mug seriously. With the little moustache. That's great, that.
oh, it's got loads. It's got one on the bottom. If I drink enough brew, you'll see.
Yeah, so my dad had come and he sat us down in the car afterwards and he was like, look, girls, if you want to take this further, we'll look at different routes to go down and stuff. And we were only 14, we were like, surely not, like, this isn't a thing, it's just fun. And then we went to an open mic night at O'Connell's in Middlesbrough. Our first ever one, we were shaking, like we were so nervous. Looking back, it's hilarious now because we've still got the videos and the sound horrendous. Like, they're awful. And yeah, you can hear how shaky we are in our voices and stuff. And we actually spoken to a fella that we've never ever forgot. He ended up owning Whole Lot of Love, the music venue. That's
okay.
No longer,
Andy.
but in Stockton, yeah. So this man, Andy Brewster,
Yeah.
had said to us, he came over after our performance and he was like, there's something there. I can put you in touch for radio shows. Do you write your own music and stuff? And we were like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, our first ever performance and we're going to be famous. As you are when you're now even 14. So yeah, we just went on from there, and we were working with local radio stations and we were working with like local venues and stuff, trying to get yourself on bills, supporting local acts. And I like to think the Teesside music scene is very much family, like it's quite a family thing. Like once everyone knows everyone, you're very much included, you're taken under people's wings, people help each other out, and it's it's nice, but that's actually how we got so involved. We were young, and I think it helped because people not felt sorry for us, but felt like they could encourage us to do much more and could see us growing throughout, which was nice. They took a leap of faith, I suppose.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Was it Angie and John that used to run the open mic as well? Was it them back then still? Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember those nights. I used to go and play them open mics as well when I was younger.
See, it's got a knock-on effect though, hasn't it? Like you start really young and then they take you on, and then as you get older, you still learn.
Yeah, you always learn, but like you still like stuff starts clicking, I think, like a lot easier. Like even like just talking to people about stuff just gets really like sort of more natural.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I still get nervous, but yeah, it does. Yeah, it definitely gives us a lot more confidence.
Someone told me nerves just means that you care. So like you like as long as you're nervous, you still care about what you're doing.
Yeah, that's definitely always been like drilled into us. But yeah, we're still quite passionate about it, which is it's exciting still. We're not bored of it yet, which is the great thing.
Oh no, it's good. So generally, like sort of like learning wise, you've obviously had some education, generally, like like choir practice and stuff. But are you both still like, well, I guess just you specifically, because it feels weird to talk about you as like you after you've had that journey with like Caitlin for so long. But is it like, are you still self-taught? Or do you do any kind of like formal training?
No, we're still all self-taught. We've always like kind of credited ourselves on that. We've never had like, because it was always such a hobby, it was never taken very like seriously on our own. And out like Caitlin self-taught herself. Does that even make self-taught herself? Piano, guitar, like how to read music. It was all just things we picked up on here and there. But yeah, we've never had a single lesson. We've never thought about it. Obviously, growing up and stuff, it was a little bit expensive, so we just kind of we did what we could and when we could. But I suppose it's paid off a little bit. We're all right. We're still learning. Like there's so many like bad habits that we have as
You're learning as a band now, aren't you? Essentially, that's like a new dynamic, isn't it? Especially as soon as you add drums, it's like, oh, we can't start songs now by just looking at each other and going.
It's so different because normally everyone always jokes and says me and Caitlin like can read each other's minds because we can look at each other and know what we're saying on stage and what's going wrong, and we know how to fix it together. But now there's 5 of us, it's a bit different. You've got me turning around at Elliot, and then there's Ellie and Jess all over. It's harder, but do you know what? It's a fun challenge, and we love it. And everyone's just fit into place so well together.
You mentioned it earlier, you touched a little bit on the social side and whatnot, but why do you think the creative arts are important? You can talk about this about yourself more personally with yourself and music, or you can talk about like sort of more general, like everyday stuff.
I think they're massively important. It gives people something to be passionate about, and I think there's not that many areas now, and especially looking at how we started in school and stuff, a lot of schools it's not as important on the curriculum anymore, and it's kind of forgotten about. But I do think young kids, it's crazy to think, because when I was 14 I thought I was an adult, and I was just a little kid, and you do need those things to be passionate about and to enjoy and let go. And I personally use music as an emotional support. It's helped me through so much, and to think that there would be people out there that wouldn't get the opportunity to have that support and that passion and way to move forward simply because there wasn't funding in the area or there wasn't funding in school. And it's sad, but we did some stuff as a band, actually. Me and Caitlin, we went into our old primary school last year. Well, it's time's not even a concept anymore, is it?
But no, it's knackered.
I'm sure it was last year or like the year before. And we were meant to be going in at Christmas, but due to COVID, we never to help them write songs and Christmas songs, and do like kind of poetry through songwriting. But we went in our school and we performed, and we were telling them everything that we've done and how there's so much more opportunity out there. You aren't shown it firsthand. And that was a major thing for us to be able to like give back to like the schools and stuff, which completely made us who we are. But yeah, it does make me quite sad that there's not enough funding and stuff, and that to think that there's children and teenagers and people that need or would benefit from these kind of activities that won't necessarily get the opportunity.
It is a shame. I'm wondering if any of that would change, obviously with like the uproar of the creative and stuff, but another big question, but how has lockdown affected your work and your future plans?
We found it quite difficult. There's a lot of stuff we've had to postpone. Obviously, last year we had some really good gigs on the cards, and obviously everything was flipped upside down, and you don't know whether you're going to get them opportunities again. And for an artist, it's not for an artist at such a small level like us. It's really hard to. You're not guaranteed the work. And if you don't take it when the opportunity arises, you aren't sure that you'll ever get it again, or whether you'll be forgotten about in the next 5 minutes when something new comes in. So you're always trying to keep up with everyone else around you and stay true to yourself, that when everything's put on hold and everyone's fighting to get noticed when there's not as much opportunity to get noticed, you really do feel the pressure. I think that's why it certainly encouraged us to make that big step from a 2-piece to a 5-piece, which is, there is positive things to come out of a lockdown. You're allowed time to sit back and look at your writing of your music and the things that other aspects that you would take for granted because you were gigging and you were out. But we took a massive look at our social media, as for one example. Our branding, everything like that. We had time to sit back and look at what we were writing, what we were putting out there, and making sure it was definitely what we wanted, and we weren't just rushing for the sake of getting stuff out. So it's helped us learn a lot about ourselves as a band. But obviously the stuff that's happening with venues and promoters, and I don't think there's enough people out there that think about the knock-on effects it has with promoters and venues and whatnot. It's not just the artist that suffers, it's the people that the artists work with, and they provide entertainment together. It's a whole industry, and it's been completely let down.
Yeah, it's pretty knackered, especially like we're like recording this during like what's dubbed as a 3.0, isn't it? So it's pretty, it can be pretty, it's demoralizing. If some people have been moving gigs back for like essentially like 18 months now, like some gigs aren't happening for like 2 years since the original, and it's all fine because everyone accepts that it needs to be like that, like no one's like upset, but it's just like, how often do you do that until you go like, my original plan for this gig was like 2 months time and now it's 18 months ahead than what it was. Do you have the same energy about it? And it's the same for the artists. Like, do they get the same buzz from that gig coming up when it's been coming up for 18 months? Like,
exactly. You're not excited about it anymore, are you? You're just it's really not great. But we'd sold out the Georgian for originally December. We'd originally sold it out for the December. Obviously that got pushed back to January. Now we're looking at like pushing it back even further than that, and then it's clashing with other dates and other festivals and stuff you've got lined up, and then you're worried that you can't turn stuff down because this festival might end up getting cancelled, or this one, and the diaries are absolutely knackered, so everything's just penciled in.
You don't know as well, like if the same rules apply for gigs, you know, like the sort of the general premises of what people deem acceptable and non-acceptable with the booking program, especially like locally where people don't want to clash. Like, you think, does that still stand? Does that still matter? Or as like, you know, because you don't know if the floodgates are going to open and everyone's just going to be packing out every gig they can and everyone's going to enjoy that, like, you know, kind of thing. Or if it's going to be total opposite and it's going to be like drips of people. It's like such a big thing. Like,
the business is going to run, like when things go back to whatever we call normal now. Because I feel pretty normal. Like, I don't know about anyone else, with me still working and stuff, I'm in my usual routine. The only thing that's missing is the social aspect and the gigging aspect of my life. So, but now I'm so used to just being in the studio, just either being at rehearsals, in the studio, or at home talking to the band via like a phone call like this, that I don't think I would know anymore, like how things would be ran. So
how are you going to be on stage? like that thing that
Yeah.
like, am I going to be as nervous? I'm going to be more relaxed. Am I going to be like more rehearsed? In which case, am I going to, it's so weird.
I think that's what was one of the really funny things about us starting the band during this time. We didn't know how any of us would perform together. Like, we'd rehearsed, but it's very different in a rehearsal room to what it is on a stage with a real audience. Now, we did a socially distanced gig for Time Bank Brewery in Little Buildings in October time, just before Halloween. Before was it like the second lockdown came into place?
Yeah, it was just before a second.
Well, you lose count now, don't you? It's just like a tally on your whiteboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was the first time we've ever performed together. And then it was going to be our last for ages, and we don't know when it's going to, like, this is the thing, we may never ever perform together as a band, but yeah.
It'll happen. Thanks very much for your time.
No,
it was a lovely interview. I'll let you enjoy your day.
Oh, well, you too. Enjoy many more interviews.